Already, West Ham with a victory at Villa Park. They've beaten them by 1-0. Pablo Fornals with the winner in the game. Tim, they needed a reaction in the second half, and David Moyes got exactly that. Pablo Fornals with the winner.
Yeah, I mean, Zuma there drives forward, so he commits a midfield player, finds Declan Rice, and this is all about Declan's disguise. Who sees that pass? Only Declan Rice. He switches off McGinn. He should be tucking round there, but he gets it out of his feet. Takes a pot shot and he gets lucky. He gets a deflection off of Henry Konza. But that pass there from Declan, reverse pass, gets it straight out of his feet, Fornals, and it just loops over the top of the goalkeeper. Absolutely no chance. So they get a little bit of fortune, but they deserved it the way they adapted in the second half.
They were poor first half, weren't they, Alan? What changed in that second half?
Well, he changed his system, more intensity, got his team further up the pitch. I mean, really, they didn't ask any questions at all of Aston Villa in the first half, but the second half, because everyone was another 15, 20 yards further up the pitch, defence, midfield, forwards, therefore they had more players in forward positions. Now, all of a sudden, the Aston Villa defenders have got something to think about. They've got to start defending, and they couldn't do it. And it was down to the manager. Yes, he got it wrong in the first half, but at least he was brave enough to admit that at half-time, change the system, change the personnel, and it worked for them, and it was much better for West Ham's second half.
Yeah, Declan Rice was in classic, although you can see there that the home side, Aston Villa, have had more possession than West Ham, and they've had more shots, and they've had 2 shots on target in that first half. The XG of both teams says it all, and West Ham, for the second time in a row in the Premier League, haven't had a shot on target in the first half of a Premier League match. I mean, I suppose you could say, guys, that Villa were the slightly better side in the first half of the match, but West Ham look really off the pace. What's going wrong there?
Well, I thought you were very polite in saying it's not been a great game. It's been a terrible game. Both teams struggling for form and confidence, particularly West Ham. I mean, David Moyes, if he isn't, he should be going berserk in that dressing room at his players, because that is nowhere near good enough. Not a touch in the box, not a shot on target at all. Don't look anywhere near to the intensity that they should. Don't look like scoring at all. Sitting far too deep, frightened of the pace, leaving space in behind. And it's pretty hopeless from West Ham.
I'm here for politeness. Tim isn't. What's wrong with the home side as well, Tim?
I thought the home side were all right. I thought they played OK. I mean, they created chances, should be ahead, without doubt. They controlled the football match. But I'm with Alan. I mean, listen, I wouldn't be shouting at the players. I would be expecting some of the players to ask me some questions if I'm David Moyes, because the way he set them up lacks any sort of desire to go and win a football match. And I don't see him in the technical area, shouting them, pushing them forward. They're showing them too much respect. We were talking about Aston Villa struggling. You know, they need to get this crowd showing a little bit of anxiety and it'll breathe to the pitch. Get them up, push into their faces. He has to scrap the system. 3 at the back's not working. He has to take one of these wing-backs off. He has to get Antonio on the field with Scamacca and give him a bit of support going forward. At the moment, just waiting to lose the football match.
Well, it's the first Premier League start for Gianluca Scamacca. What have you made of his first 45 minutes?
Really struggled, not been in the game enough, not been involved enough. Ball hasn't been played up to him. When it has, it's sort of bounced off him. Spent far too much time outside of the 18-yard box. He should be in there. Look, you're never going to score goals hanging out like that. And that's been part of West Ham's problem, is that they're not prepared to commit enough men forward. Same thing again here. It's not a bad ball, but other than the ball into the box there, one person tries to get in between. There's not really any other options, and that's why they've been so poor going forward. And you can see his touches there. I mean, one touch in the box, and for a centre forward hoping to make a bit of an impact, nowhere near good enough.
Can't blame him, Al.
No, it's not all his fault at all. It's down to the intensity or the lack of it from West Ham.
Well, Aston Villa thought they'd scored. They had the ball in the back of the net through Henry Konza, didn't they, Tim? But this one was ruled out because the ball went out of play from the corner. It's a great spot by the officials.
It is a great spot. I'll tell you why it's such a good spot, because if you look at Fabianski, he doesn't ever, even when the ball's nesting in the back of his net, he doesn't complain. He never, ever tells the officials that ball's gone out of play. It's a good spot. We've seen that. It was a good ball from Digne, and obviously Coutinho was unlucky to finish and Konza sucks it in. But look at him, Fabianski there. Never once did he put his arm up. He has the best view of everyone, so it's a great spot from the official.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Very
OK,
good.
we head to Molineux now, where, thankfully, Declan Rice said the key to that improvement in the second half was that they wanted it more than Aston Villa, and the stats prove that, don't they, Alan?
Well, I mentioned further up the pitch, just look at the last one, passes in the final third. It's almost double to what it was in the first half, 32-62. So that tells you how much they dominated. That tells you how much everyone got further up, how they increased the intensity, passed it more, asked more questions of Aston Villa, and it was totally opposite to what we saw in the first half.
In terms of shots and shots on target, though, this still isn't the level that West Ham fans will want to see from their team. So what do they need to add in the next match? They've got Tottenham on Wednesday.
Well, they always turn it on when they play Tottenham, so it's a big game for them. If you can't get up for that game, then there's no getting up for anything. It's not about wanting it there. It's about a tweak in the system in the second half. That's what it was all about, because they were poor in the first half, but they never had... There's still a way to play with three at the back, but at the moment they haven't mastered it. I think they're better in a four, get more offensive players on the field, get into support of your centre-forward. Scamacca there will be disappointed that he's come off the pitch because they started crossing the ball, they started getting into support. If he would have stayed on the pitch, he'd be a threat. He needs to be given the opportunity when they're playing on the front foot, but they were far too passive in the first half, too negative in the way they set up. Moisey got it wrong and he got it right in the second half. And it takes a good manager to be able to admit that. Some managers become very stubborn and say, no, I'm sticking to my guns. This is the way I'm going to go. He knew he got it wrong and he changed it. And the players really, really lifted their game. You need to get your instrumental players in the game as much as you can. And there's no more instrumental player at West Ham than that boy, Declan Rice. Get him in the football match because he drives you forward. He's not only a sitting midfielder who breaks the play up. When he gets the ball in the final third, he can drive through. And when he drives through, he commits players and he finds a spare man. They got it right in the second half. And did they deserve to win? Probably on the balance of play, I think a draw would have fair.